When we think of the space race, most imagine the Cold War rivalry between the United States and the Soviet Union. But in the shadow of that geopolitical contest, a quieter yet equally profound revolution was taking place, one launched not from Washington or Moscow, but from the global South. Welcome to the story of India's space program, a story of resilience, defiance, and ambition. A program born in the era of decolonization, built under the weight of Western skepticism, and now poised to shape the 21st century multipolar space order. This is not just about rockets and satellites. This is about technology as resistance and space exploration as sovereignty. Let's walk through the timeline of its origins, step by step. India's first Prime Minister, Jawaharlal Nehru, believed that scientific advancement was not a luxury for the rich, but a necessity for national survival, and he places a strong emphasis on science and technology as central to national rebuilding. Institutions like the Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, TIFR, are established. Nehru's vision is clear. For India to remain truly independent, it must control its own scientific destiny. India focuses on atomic energy with the establishment of the Department of Atomic Energy, DAE, in 1954. The idea of a space program starts to take shape in scientific circles, especially among physicists who understand the dual-use potential of rocketry. Under the initiative of Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, the Indian National Committee for Space Research, INCOSPAR, is created in 1962, operating under the Department of Atomic Energy. This marks the first institutional step toward a national space program. Sarabhai, trained in Cambridge, envisions using space science not for military might, but to lift India out of poverty. India's first rocket, a sounding rocket for atmospheric research, is launched in 1963 from Thumba Equatorial Rocket Launching Station, Turles, in Kerala. There is a historical iconic image. The rocket's parts are transported on bicycles and bullock carts, a powerful symbol of India's humble beginnings and resourcefulness. The rocket is American-made, but the moment marks India's entry into space science. In 1969, the Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO, is formally established as an independent entity. Dr. Vikram Sarabhai becomes its first chairman. ISRO's first goal is clear: to build and launch satellites that support agriculture, communication, meteorology, and education, not missiles or moon landings. This makes it one of the few space programs globally founded on civil, not military objectives. Even before launching satellites, India begins experimenting with terrestrial uses of space tech, including a program using NASA satellites to broadcast educational TV to Indian villages, known as the Satellite Instructional Television Experiment, SITE. This initiative proves that space technology can have a direct egalitarian impact, especially in the developing world. In the West, India's space ambitions were met with a mix of ridicule and concern. Western analysts questioned why a country with widespread poverty was wasting money on rockets. But these critiques ignored the historical context. The West had enriched itself through colonial extraction, while India was building its scientific infrastructure from scratch, often under sanctions and export restrictions. As India refused to align with either NATO or the Soviet bloc, it became a target of technology denial regimes, like the Missile Technology Control Regime, MTCR. These restrictions, however, only fueled India's drive for self-reliance. ISRO developed national technology not out of choice, but as a matter of strategic survival. Even the earliest Indian satellite, Aryabhata, launched in 1975, was the result of intense domestic innovation despite foreign constraints. India's Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle, PSLV, and later the Geosynchronous Satellite Launch Vehicle, GSLV, were developed under the threat of Western embargoes. This was a direct anti-imperialist act, resisting the technological monopoly of the global North through local innovation. By the 1990s, India's space program had matured. ISRO began launching remote sensing satellites to monitor agriculture, manage natural disasters, and enhance communication in rural regions. This was not a space program chasing glory. It was pragmatic, utilitarian, and deeply democratic in its vision. India used space for telemedicine, for distance education, and for weather forecasting, services that directly improved millions of lives. While NASA and ESA pursued scientific prestige, ISRO focused on nation-building. Beyond launch vehicles, ISRO has achieved significant milestones. Chandrayaan-1 2008, India's first lunar mission, which famously discovered evidence of water molecules on the moon. Mars Orbiter Mission, Mangalyaan 2013. Costing just $74 million, less than the Hollywood movie Gravity, Mangalyaan was a symbol of post-colonial competence. It was the first time a nation succeeded in reaching Mars on its first attempt. Chandrayaan-3 2023. India became the fourth nation to successfully soft land on the moon and the first to reach its South Pole, a region with potential for frozen water. Aditya L1 2023, India's first dedicated mission to study the sun. SpotX 2025, India became the fourth nation to successfully dock 2 satellites in space, a critical technology for future space stations and complex missions. The message was clear. India may not have all the West resources, but they have the capability. In recent years, space has become a new domain of geopolitical rivalry, with the US, China, and Russia militarizing space assets. India is not immune. In 2019, India conducted Mission Shakti, an anti-satellite ASAT weapons test. Though controversial, it marked a turning point. India was asserting its right to defend its assets in space, a necessity in a world where cyber warfare and space denial strategies are increasingly real. At the same time, India continues to expand international cooperation with BRICS countries, and especially Russia, on space ventures. It has also partnered with France, Japan, and even NASA, but always maintaining strategic autonomy. ISRO's ability to launch foreign satellites at a fraction of the cost has also made India a commercial space power, earning credibility among the global South. Looking ahead, India plans to launch its first human spaceflight mission, Gaganyaan, with indigenous astronaut training. It is also working on a space station, solar missions like Aditya L1, and deep space probes. But more than any single mission, it's India's philosophy that sets it apart. While other space powers race for militarization and monopolies, India presents a developmental, cooperative, and non-aligned vision of space. It is not just about launching rockets, it is about launching sovereignty, scientific, technological, and geopolitical. From bullock carts carrying rocket parts in the 1960s to precision lunar landings in the 2020s, India's space journey is not just a scientific achievement, it's a political statement. A statement that in a world still marked by technological colonialism, the global South can rise, and rise on its own terms. And don't forget, like the video and subscribe the channel to keep thinking the world how it really is,